Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for God is with me. Your staff and your rod, they comfort me. Amen. Thank the Lord for my blessings, for my strength and protection. Man, I know that God got me, but I still keep a weapon in my city. Niggas shady for this money, they a trip, but I keep that 40 tucked. I won't let them catch me slip. If I have to catch a body, I just pray the Lord forgive. I don't wanna hurt nobody, but you know it's me or them. And see, I ain't.
All right, first and foremost, we want to say call halal. First and foremost, we want to say call halal Yahweh. We do so by Shem Yahweh Shai. It's your brother Rockawan.
Shalom, it's your brother Batazian Wahawada. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
And we're here to break down Revelation chapter 12. The breakdown brothers back at it again.
Oh my God, back at it again.
Let me share my screen real quick. Oh, why do that? So lucky. Moving too fast. Do I need to zoom in?
Yeah, probably a little bit. Yeah, it's hard for me to see it off yours. Probably a little bit. It's probably be good in the overall video, but you know what I mean? We looking at smaller screens. I mean, I got it in front of me. It should be all right.
All right, count all praises. So we're going to start with Revelation 12 from the top. This book, Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So we know when we're dealing with this, you know, Christians that go to them run into this chapter right here, because they'll try to say, oh, well, see, this is about Satan and his angels rebelling against the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So it said there was a great wonder in heaven, and a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, right? So we got to ask ourselves, who is this woman that they see clothed with the sun, right?
And for that, if you want to pull up the other scriptures too, just, you know, the precepts, just to do it. I mean, since you got your screen up, you should go to Jeremiah 6 and 2 out the gates.
Yep, that's what I was looking for.
Yes, sir. Like you said, them Christians will have a crazy breakdown. We trying to do everything precept upon precept and line upon line like he told us to do.
That's right. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 and verse 2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. I'm going to break that down.
Clear as day, right there. You say that's that same woman that we saw right there in the beginning of Revelation chapter 12, like you said. So he is Zion, the daughter of Zion, which is Israel. Israel is referred to as Zion or Jerusalem or a lot of different ways, because that's who we are. It's like you said, a delicate and beautiful woman. So that woman in Revelation 12, and there appeared, you know, a great wonder, and a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. That is that woman. Israel is that beautiful woman. That's who God came for, and that's who he's coming to save since the beginning. That's it. And then after that, like you said, the sun and the moon under her feet. You know, so y'all just keep going with that.
Just real quick, 2 Ezra 10 and 44. This woman whom thou sawest is Zion, and whereas she said unto thee, even she whom thou seest as a city builded. So we see Israel time and time again in scriptures being likened and referred to as a woman. You know what I'm saying? And then, like the brother was saying, going into the stars and the moon being under her feet. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse Salakia. Where is it at? Be purified. The sun and the moon is indicative of our knowledge, our wisdom, and our understanding. Right.
Khan.
I'm looking for this precept real quick in Daniel just to get to the point. So Daniel 12 and 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. Now, what the day that be white shall shine is the brightness of the firmament. What's the brightness of the firmament? The Most High set two lights up there. What? The sun and the moon.
Con.
What's our wisdom? The law, statutes, and under the laws, commandments, and the statutes. See what I'm saying? Pursuant to Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter.
Con. If you want,
I'm going
you
back.
want to. So like, what was you about to say, bro?
I was about to go into and upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
Oh yeah, Con. Yeah, you were still breaking it down. Could we get one more precept for that? Can we just get Proverbs 6:23?
Okay. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
There you go. Hit it home again. Like you said, the law, statutes, and commandments. That's how we are in this light. That's how we know what is coming to Babylon and everything else, because the Most High's word is the light that's being referred to.
That's right. So going back to the verse, it says, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. We know the 12 stars is the 12 tribes of Israel.
Con.
If the woman is the nation, there's 12 tribes that make up our nation, the 12 stars, right? Verse 2. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. See what I'm saying? So when we know this woman, she was with child, you know what I'm saying, crying, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. So we know who ultimately this child is.
Con, that child would be Yahweh Shah.
That's right. And let's prove that though real quick.
There you go.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, and the Prince of Peace.
Con, and if you want just to get even go here, like run through it real fast, let's get just Matthew chapter 1 and verse 21.
Book of Matthew, chapter 1 and verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushai, for he shall save his people from their sins.
Con, clear as day.
You see that? Verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. So we know when we deal with the red dragon, that's going into the Roman Empire, right? In antiquity. You know what I'm saying? That great red dragon is the Roman. Salaki, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just agreeing with you. Like you said, we already know if brothers should have this breakdown. We should know, like the red dragon is the Roman Empire, or today would be modernly, NATO and EU. So those countries that started back then, would be like Britannia, Germania Major, Germania Minor. Those things from those 7 heads was turned to the 10 horns. Which we have today. Rome, Italy, Spain. Luxembourg, all these different places, the Netherlands, but they are those same people that you see today that has a problem. Now, if you beef with one of NATO, you beef with all of them, and America is the one that's kind of the controlling army of that. That's those people right there, pretty much. You ain't gonna go into too much in depth with there, but that's who they are.
Verse 4. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Right? So we know that the tail that drew down the third part of the stars, if there's 12 stars, the third, you know what I'm saying? That's the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And cast them to the earth. So we know if heaven is a condition, right, is rulership, what happens if you're cast from heaven to the earth? You're brought down to a lower state. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it be born. Now watch this in Matthew, the 2nd chapter. Because we stated earlier in the previous verse that this child was Hamashiach Yahushai. Right? So let's get this in Matthew, the 2nd chapter.
We get big yep, verse 13 maybe.
What is it? Matthew 2 and
13.
13? Throw
Yeah.
out. This book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. So we know Herod was he was king in Israel, but he was a Roman. He was an Edomite. You know what I'm saying? Further substantiating that the red dragon is ancient Rome.
Con.
You see what I'm saying? Jump down to verse 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the young men. Of the wise men. So you see that? He was the dragon. Where's that verse of Salaki? The dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered to devour her child. As soon he was ready to kill Christ as soon as he was born. Verse 5. And she brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. You see that? So it said the man child was to rule all nations.
Yeah, with that rod of iron, man. And we can find that in Revelation 2, verse 26. I know my brother got it. I know you on top of it.
That's the spirit. This is Revelation 2 and 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. So Hamashiach Yahushua is going to give us power to rule with a rod of iron, just like he received from his Father. So this child that's to rule all nations is, we know, ultimately is Hamashiach Yahushua. And we see this in Revelation 2, that he's going to give us a rod of iron, the same way he was given a rod of iron, which fulfills the prophecy here in Revelation chapter 12. You got something you want to add, brother?
It kind of goes with that, but you can read the next verse and then I got something for us to pull because they're gonna tie in together.
And I will give him the morning star. You mean reread? You mean the next verse of Revelation 12?
Yeah, Revelation 12. Salakia.
Okay, verse 6. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute, brother. We can't pass this. It's more meat on this bone. And she brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. I would have been remiss if I had left that meat on the bone, brother.
Okay.
Let's see who got caught up to God and to his throne. This is the book of Acts, chapter 1 and verse 9. And when he had spoken these things while they beheld, he was taken up, and the cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven.
Hey, that's fire right there, brother. Hey, damn. Hey, look, we so busy thinking about like we ain't gonna make this long. That was some definitely fire right there, bro. That definitely proves that. It speaks for itself. Oh my God, that was fire.
And then I'd be remiss if I didn't get this. Let's see who was called up unto heaven, right? Acts 7 and verse 55. But he, being full of the Holy Ghost, this is talking about Stephen, looked up steadfastly into heaven and saw the glory of God and Yahushua standing on the right hand of God. And behold, I see the heavens open and the Son of Man standing on the right hand of God. We know if God is sitting on his throne, then he's at the right hand. Where is he at? He's over at the throne.
Okay.
Get here to verse 6 now. We're back in Revelation 12, verse 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness where she had the place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
1,000. I was thinking about Micah 4 for sure.
Right.
Because even with that, Micah 4 and 10, and then it's a little bit on 13, even goes back where it's talking about 5 with the rod of iron and all that stuff as well too, because all of that happens really there. It's crazy.
This is the book of Micah, chapter 4, verse 10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion. So let's see, the woman is Israel. Like a woman in travail, for now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. There shalt thou be delivered. There Yahweh shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies. Verse 13. Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, I will make thy hooves brass. Thou shalt beat in pieces many people, and I will consecrate their gain unto Yahweh, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth.
You see, that's that rod of, like he said, Yahweh Shah is going to be that man that comes and beat everybody with that rod of iron. And like he said, those that overcome, that will be a part of our inheritance as well. So there will be beating and thrashing and slavery in the kingdom. Thus saith the Lord.
Right. Now let's get back up to Micah 4 and 10 to go into this wilderness, right? So it says that now shalt thou go forth out of the city. The city we know is Jerusalem, and thou shalt dwell in the field. So when the Jews got kicked out of Jerusalem in 70 AD, ultimately, where did we end up going? We ended up migrating to the western shores of Africa. That's the field. And thou shalt go even to Babylon. Now we know this isn't talking about ancient Babylon, but modern day Babylon. And there shalt thou be delivered. There Yahweh shall redeem you from the hand of your enemies. So the wilderness that the woman fled into was the western shores of Africa. That you feed her there 1,203 days. So we know prophetically a day is about a day is a year. You know what I'm saying? So here we read this. We were in Western Africa roughly 1,200 years. You know what I'm saying? Before we started getting kidnapped from over there. And the woman also, it's also important to realize the woman fled because of oppression, the Roman oppression. Here we go into a good stumbling block for a Christian. Verse 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought in his angels. So here's an important thing that we got to realize about this, right? What does the Bible say? What does the Bible say heaven is, right? Because the thing about this is Christians that say, oh, there was this war in heaven, everything was peaceful, and one day Satan woke up and chose violence. And he picked a couple of angels to fight with him, and Michael and his angels was fighting, and they was just in the sky just having a war, right? But let's break this down, with some sense. Right? If I paraphrase that right, let's see.
Yeah, the kingdom of heaven is in you.
Kingdom. Matter of fact, I know how to find it. Salakia. Drawing a blank. I hope that's how you spell that, though. Here we go. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 11 and verse 12. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. You want to break that down?
Because we are the people that basically we are supposed to be in that higher state since the beginning, like you said, but we suffer violence. The way that we've been treated, because we're God's chosen people, we're the apple of his eye. And even since then, even until this time now, these same people, these Israelites, you blessed Hispanics and Native Americans, are still being treated like the scum of the earth, pretty much. It's like he said, heaven is a condition.
Yeah, I just wanted to see how they rendered that word in the Greek. The kingdom of heaven. So how if the kingdom of heaven is this place in the sky that you got to die to get to, how was the violent taking it by force? And how is it suffering violence?
God,
it just don't make sense. So we know, let's get a proper understanding of this verse. There was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels. So we already established that the dragon is the Roman Empire.
Con.
And the angels that's with him is his allies, right? Michael, let's get this in Daniel real quick. Mike, the archangel Michael, he was always known for when the Israelites was at war, he was the angel that would come and he would help us out, right? Let's prove that. Daniel 10 and 13. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 120 days, but lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the king of Persia. Right? Daniel 12 and 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. Michael, at that time shall Michael, the archangel Michael, stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book. Right? So the archangel Michael was always known to come fight for the children of Israel in the spiritual sense, right? And the great, let me see. We on verse 8 now?
Verse 9. You want me to read it? Oh no, yeah. That's cool. 8, then 9. Yeah, Salakia.
So let's read verse 7 again real quick. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and the dragon fought and his angels. So we see Michael is fight. Michael and the heavenly host is helping us spiritually fight off the Roman Empire and his allies, right? So all of this is going into is when Hamashiach Yahushua returns, these other nations, they're going to try to rise up against us and they're going to try to fight against us when Hamashiach Yahushua comes back. That's all this is going into. Verse 8, not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven. So after Michael and the angels kicked their ass, you know what I'm saying? After we kicked their ass, they're not going to rise. They're not going back to heaven. They're not going to rise into rulership or power anymore. Because like I said earlier, it was that verse 5. This man child that she brought forth is to rule all nations. And we know that Hamashiach Yahushua's kingdom is an everlasting dominion, an everlasting kingdom. Verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So this is where they get the concept of Satan or the fallen angels. But we already established the great dragon is Rome. We know Satan is the spiritual demon, it's a spiritual entity. And we know the devil is who the so-called white man, which is ironically the Romans. You know what I'm saying? So it's juxtaposed. It says the dragon, the serpent, the devil, and Satan, which deceive the whole world. So let's prove this. You said you wanted Isaiah 14, right?
Isaiah 14, start at verse 12.
Let's prove something.
If you want, I can read it. I can see your screen clear as hell. Nah, that's crazy. You must have zoomed in.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, and verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
Let's keep going a little bit.
Keep going, kind of slow. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
Oof.
I will also upon the mount of the congregation and the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake nations?
Right there, show you, is this the man? So they're showing you that this Lucifer, or how it says in Revelation 12, like you said, that old dragon, the devil, Satan, right here, we're showing you that it said this is a man that's been cast down from heaven down to the pits, or to hell, or to the sides of the pits. We're showing you that it's not literal heaven, but he's fallen from his high estate, and the world is looking at him and seeing him in this low estate down in the dust.
So we see that heaven and hell concept isn't places that you go that you have to die to get to. You know what I'm saying? Now let me see. Let me get this. Was it some of the second answers I was looking for? No, I don't think so. Let me go back.
Unless you think about them trying to fight or what?
You said what?
What was you looking for? Them trying to fight?
I don't know what I went there for. I'm drawing blanks.
Oh,
Where we at? Verse 10.
10.
And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. Oof. So, this is pretty self-explanatory. Once Hamashiach Yahushua beats the world powers, because that's who the dragon and his allies is. That's who the dragon, the old serpent, the devil, and Satan is. The world powers that be now and their allies. So we see Russia and China starting to gear up and rally up. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have this evil imagination in their thought to come against Hamashiach Yahushua when he returns and his 144,000 killmongers. You see what I'm saying? So we know once we beat the world powers down, we being the Israelites. Lord willing, we're at that number. Now has come salvation. That's when we officially are all the way into salvation. We don't have to worry about losing our dominion over the earth anymore, and strength in the kingdom of our God. Because what's the kingdom of our God? Israelite rulership in the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. Because Satan won't have dominion anymore. And I want to get that real quick, just real quick. I got a keyword. Salakia. It's been a little time. Is it really? It is. It's in the next verse. All right, we're going to get to it. Let's jump down to verse 12 real quick. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows he hath but a short time. You know what I'm saying?
God.
So that's why things are getting rampant, because Satan knows the accuser of our brethren, and knows he only got a little bit of time left. Verse 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. So the scriptures tell us that some of us are going to have to be martyrs. Some of us is going to have to die the death, man. Some of us is going to have to die for, you know what I'm saying, the blood of the Lamb, the word of the testimony. Some of us we can't love our lives unto death. The Bible says that he that is faithful unto death, to him shall I give a crown. It says if you lose your life for Mashiach Yahushua, you shall find it. And if you keep your life, then you shall lose it.
Hey, look, where we at? Revelation 12 and 12?
I'm about to read that now.
Okay,
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, and to the sea, end of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. You had something to say?
Like you said, the heavens, like you said, them that's in that higher state and them that's dwelling in that spot right now, you holding the flame right now. He's telling them to rejoice because, like he said, and it's going to be a time where they're going to heat up when they get to want to implement this mark and this stuff right here. So we know that their plan is getting cut short. They're implementing things right now. So we know they're going to turn and heat up on us, especially these brothers, the ones out here doing the work. They might try to cut the power, get rid of YouTube, go in people's cribs, force this on us. But it's also a precept before that to show you that Esau and them, the white man is the devil that's in this high state that he's talking about. You want to pull Lamentations 4:21?
You must not be looking at my screen, brother.
No, I'm not. Damn, that's crazy. Let me see. Oh, my God. You already there through the spirit. Go ahead. Bring it out.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and thou shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom, he will discover thy sins. So, like the brother said in Revelation chapter 12, verse 12, it's telling him to rejoice. You know what I'm saying? And like we say, keep saying this heaven is a condition, this heaven is rulership. So rejoice those who rule now.
God.
You know what I'm saying? So who rules the world right now? The daughter of Edom. You know what I'm saying? The virgin daughter of Babylon.
God.
You see what I'm saying? So powerful point that the brother made.
God, I wasn't even looking at your screen. I was over here searching stuff. That's crazy through the spirit. Hey, look, we the breakdown brothers for real. Where we at now, though?
That's right. That's the spirit. Verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child.
Woo.
So who was the woman that brought forth the man child? That would be Israel, right?
God.
Let me get this. Right. Real quick. Ezekiel 37. And no, it's not 37, it's 38. I'm like, I done got the I did this whole chapter and I know the stick shouldn't be in it. Let me see.
Oh yeah, that was the Valley of Dry Bones.
It's like 30. I should come against people as a cloud to cover the land. Hold on, let me get it in my sword real quick. Verse 10. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 10. Thus saith the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, they that dwell safely, and all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, and dwell in the midst of the land. Even the Dan and the merchants of Tarshish with all the young lions thereof shall say unto thee, art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, to take away a great spoil? So when Esau figures this out, right? When the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, when he saw he was brought to a low estate, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. They're going to try to come and they're going to persecute us, right? At least they're going to try. That's the evil thought. Yeah, that's that evil thought that they you know what I'm saying, in verse 10. But we can look at we can look at this from a historical perspective, and we can see that when the Roman Empire fell, what happened? You know what I'm saying? After the dragon was cast into the earth, you know what I'm saying, and the Dark Ages come about, and we know it's called the Dark Ages because the Israelites was ruling at the time. He persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. Then we started to be persecuted. Then you get 1442. Now Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. They start taking our Northern Kingdom brothers over to Spain and Europe. And they come to Africa and bring us over here to America. That's them persecuting the woman which brought forth the man child. You got something you want to say on that?
No, you're right. Like you said, these scriptures, this duality, like you said. So even then, when we seen them drip from they one estate back to low and then rise again, like you said, because that time is still even short when you look at the whole time of biblical prophecy. Even though, you know what I mean, we was in it, 400 something years, even, from that time to then, from slavery and all of that, it's still not but a short time to the Most High.
Verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and a half a time from the face of the serpent. So this is going back into verse, 6. The woman fled into the wilderness. She had a place prepared of God. Right? This is going into Western Africa. You know what I'm saying? When we was fleeing from that persecution.
When she was nourished, like we had a sense of, I guess, a peace. Even though we weren't in our land at that time, we still had, you can look up like
we weren't being persecuted by the Romans.
From
the face of the serpent. Verse 15, the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. It's crazy that it says cast water that the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman. They might cause her to be carried away of the flood. A flood is usually dealing with water, right?
God.
When they came to Western Africa and got us for slaves, by what mode did we become
Ooh.
slaves?
God, by damn ship right there. It took us over them waters.
Yeah, see, he cast that water after that woman that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
Of the flood. Man, that's powerful right there, bro.
Verse 16. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahushua Hamashiach. So you see that? This dragon is seething over the woman. You know what I'm saying? This dragon is seething because of us. And they make war with us. Like, let's look at how they make war with us real quick. Watch this. Let's see how they make war with us on a practical level. Look at the Southern Poverty Law Center. History of Hebrew Israelism. You see this? Black Judaism, a belief system birthed in the late 1800s by black Christians from the South Pentecostal Holiness movement. They claim to have received a revelation. America's recently emancipated slaves were God's chosen people, the true Hebrews. Now look at this. We go into here, look at this. They bring up Commanding General Yohana. You know what I'm saying? You keep looking on here. Sakari is going to be on here. Other brothers' camps is going to be on here. We're labeled hate groups, man. They try to make it wrong for us to go out and teach the Bible on the streets. You know what I'm saying? Just here in Sakari, Detroit, you know what I'm saying? They won't even let us use the microphone no more. You know what I'm saying? We see brothers getting the police called on them for teaching this word. You know what I'm saying? We see Christians, they want to fight us. You know what I'm saying? We just want to talk about the Bible, and the brothers and sisters and heathens, they just want to fight us. They're making war with us that keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Hamashiach Yahushua.
You can even show that. It's in Revelation 13 and 7. If you want to, just to show that he was giving this, you know what I mean? Like you said, to come and make war with us. But at the end of the day, we know we going to prevail. The ones that's keeping the commandment, that's that remnant, that's that seed, that's that 1/3.
Pull this up real quick. Revelation 13:7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
That's him being on that top, being in the state of heaven. He is the ruler, man. Esau rules the world. If you can't see who, like you said, Jacob is Esau's the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning that follow. If you can't tell that the white man is the one that's ruling this world right now, you're blind.
That's right. So this whole chapter in its totality is just talking about the world powers coming to make war with Israel, us prevailing, and the coming of our kingdom, the coming of our Lord and Savior, the coming of our big brother, Hamashiach Yahushua.
God, that's right.
Right. We just waiting on big bro at this point.
That's it. Couple more prophecies. That's it.
You said what?
Said couple more prophecies and that's it.
Yeah, we almost out of here, Israel. Just keep prevailing. You know what I'm saying? Stop sharing my screen. Just keep prevailing and keep on keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, having faith and enduring to the end, and we'll all be out of here soon. Because everybody ain't gonna make it. It's 1/3 and 2/3. Which one of the thirds you want to be? Or like a brother told me, nigga, you either gonna be the 144 or the 1/3. Ain't no other way.
That's it. That's it, bro.
But with that, we can close out and we can say, call Elohim La Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai.
Call Allah Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai. Shalom.
With that, shalom.